There we go. So anyway, so we're going to discuss tracking numbers. So tracking numbers is something that every single business does. Forget about the real estate industry, the hotel industry, the beverage industry, the computer in sales industry, you know, healthcare, everybody tracks numbers. You go to a Marriott and you talk to the general manager of the hotel, they will tell you exactly how many rooms were filled in the hotel last night, how many, how much money they made at the restaurant, how much they did in room service, how much they did at the bar, how much they have booked for tonight, what kind of events they have coming up for the weekend. Like, they run it like a business. They understand their numbers. And as real estate salespeople, we don't understand our numbers. We don't track our numbers. But if we do, and if we did, we would have such a better understanding on the health of our business and how to manipulate and change things along the way to make it more effective, to make it more efficient. So tracking numbers is truly, it's a vitally important process to do on a regular basis. So point number one, the fastest way to learn who you are as a real estate salesperson, your strengths and your weaknesses, your level of efficiency, and what it will take to succeed is to track your numbers. It's like a reality check. If you think that you're prospecting a lot, how much did you prospect yesterday? A lot. I prospected a lot. Well, try tracking your numbers. Look, actually, how many people did you talk to? Let me think. Talk to Joe, talk to Mary, talk to that guy. I talked to 3 people yesterday. Wow, maybe it wasn't a lot. It sure as hell felt like a lot, right? So tracking your numbers really does highlight your strengths and your weaknesses. What you thought could have been a strength. I talked to a ton of people yesterday. Maybe it was a weakness. Holy cow, I talked to 3 people. There's no way I'm going to build a robust, duplicatable business by only talking to 3 people, right? Point number 2, we know that many agents are numbers challenged. That's one of the reasons why many agents don't track their numbers. They're numbers challenged. Keep track of your numbers every day, and don't worry if they don't make sense today. They will eventually. So a lot of agents say, I don't know what to track. I don't know why I'm tracking it. I don't know what the benefit is. But you have to have a little bit of faith that it's for a good reason and it will make sense in the future. And the kind of the benefits are a little bit hidden in the beginning. You can't really connect the dots between what you're doing and why I'm tracking it and what's the benefit. But in the future, you absolutely can. So Sean has been really diligent over the past year or so on tracking his numbers. How many hours did he prospect per day? How many people did he talk to? How many leads did he find? And then you can look back and you can start to say, like, am I getting better or am I getting worse? Am I talking to more people or less people? Am I devoting enough time? Am I getting more efficient? In other words, am I talking to more people per hour than I used to? Am I developing more leads? Is my scripting getting better? So tracking numbers really starts to show you the metrics, the internal metrics of your business in a way that you just can't find in any other way. Point number 3, the numbers don't lie. Do you want to build your business on reality or fantasy? The numbers don't lie. Again, as we said earlier, I prospected so much yesterday. I'm emotionally spent. I'm exhausted. I was on the phones all day. I had tons of conversations. Wait a second. You talked to 3 people. The numbers don't lie. If you think you can talk to 3 people a day and build a successful business, you're kidding yourself, right? The numbers don't lie. There's a wonderful way of just slicing through and creating reality very, very quickly. And that's one of the benefits of initially tracking the numbers, so that over time, as you have an understanding of what they mean and how you can understand them better and how you can implement changes because of what those numbers tell us, it becomes vitally important. So for those that are extremely numbers challenged, what the hell are you supposed to track, right? What are you supposed to follow? What are you supposed to keep note of? You want to keep it very simple? These are the most simple things to track on a daily basis. Hours prospected. That's number one. Hours prospected. Did I prospect 3 hours, or did I prospect 0.3 hours? Whatever it is, it's okay, because it's reality, right? We're not in fantasy land, we're in reality here. Let's start by being very brutally realistic with ourselves. Marriott doesn't fudge the numbers. You know, if they have 500 rooms and they were at 60% occupancy, that's probably not good. If they're at 99% occupancy, that's much better. They're not going to give themselves a pat on the back if they're not meeting their metrics, because they have accountability to people at a higher level, and that's how you build and how you run a business. So hours prospected. How many hours do I actually prospect every day? Start tracking that. Have a whiteboard somewhere and just say Monday, 20 minutes. All right, 0, 3 hours, whatever it was. It's such a wonderful place to start tracking hours prospected. Number 2, contacts. How many contacts did I actually make? Did I actually talk to? A contact is somebody where you are having a real estate conversation. Either you're asking them how you can serve them in real estate, or asking them when do they plan on moving, or asking them who do they know that needs some assistance, or asking them how can I help? What can I do for you? That's a real estate conversation. How many of those contacts are you actually having? Are you having 1? Are you having 21? Your results are going to vary and differ, and your results over the course of the year are going to massively differ. You can't expect to make $100,000 or $200,000 or $300,000 a year, or whatever the number is for you, but you can't expect to do that without talking to people. It requires real estate conversations. It's just a requirement. So what a beautiful thing to get real with yourself. How many people am I actually talking to each day? Then it's something you can coach yourself on. It's something you can improve on, right? God, for the past 7 days, I've been talking to 2 people a day. You know what? I'm going to do 5 a day this week. Not a huge jump, but I'm committing to myself. I'm going to talk to 5 people per day, no matter what. How do you think you'll feel if you make a commitment and actually do that? Like, my goodness, what a fabulous, wonderful thing to make an internal commitment to yourself, to excellence, to growth, doing more, to being more. Super, super cool. That's what numbers give you. It sounds, in the beginning, you're thinking, tracking numbers. What the hell are we going to talk about tracking numbers for? What it gives you, it is such a gift, because it gives you insight into actually how to grow your business, how to squeeze more juice out of your efforts. It's a wonderful insight tool. So that's the second thing, contacts. So number 1, hours prospected. Number 2, contacts made. How many contacts did I make? That is, quite honestly, maybe the 2 most important things you can track. Then beyond that, what else can you track? How many presentations did I go on? So how many times did I actually meet with a buyer or a seller this week? Was it 2? Was it 1? Was it 3? Was it nothing? Because guess what? If we're not actually meeting with people, who's ever sold a house without meeting the person? You have. So have I. It happens. Does it happen a lot? Is it the majority of your business? It's happened one time. It's happened. So there's always going to be an exception to the rule, but you're not going to build a business based on exceptions to the rule. So if most of our clients in the past have actually transacted with us and we've actually met with them, obviously presentations are important. So that's another metric to count. And again, to be real with yourself, that's great. Hey, I prospected, 1 hour per day last week. I talked to 5 people on Monday, Wednesday and Thursday, and on Wednesday and Friday, I talked to 6 people on Thursday and whatever. All right, I talked to 28 people, and I prospected 5 hours, and I went on 0 presentations. All right, this week, I'm going to really keep that on the forefront of my mind. I'm going to really look, who can I set an appointment with today? Who can I set an appointment with this week? And now when I'm on my calls, when the phone is ringing, I'm saying, are you my next appointment? Are you my next appointment? Or I'm calling my past clients, or I'm calling my friends, or I'm calling my center of influence, or I'm talking to people, Lauren, I'm talking to people at work. Are you my next appointment? Right? It adds a different level of urgency when you track your numbers. All right. So the third one is presentations. The fourth number, as we're kind of moving up the level of sophistication in this numbers tracking thing. As you start to prospect more hours, as you start to talk to more people, right? Sean, you prospected 3 hours yesterday, right? And you had somewhere around 20 contacts between the cold calling and the expired calling, right? So your numbers, your hours prospected, your contacts made, then your presentations that you've gone on. Well, once you start going presentations, what happens? You start taking listings, right? So that's the next thing you can track. Now, are you tracking that on a daily basis? Probably not. We're not taking a listing every single day for the most part. But when you look over the course of the month, how many hours did I prospect? How many contacts did I make? How many presentations? Wow, I went on 3 presentations and I took 1 listing. Okay, now we're talking. I made 200. I prospected, 31 hours. I made 212 contacts. I went on 3 presentations. I took 1 listing. Okay, now we start to learn a little bit about our efforts. Okay, now this is only 1 month that we're talking about, but I take it now, at least for lack of a better numbers, I take 1 listing every 212 contacts, every 31 hours prospected, right? For every 3 presentations I go on, I take 1 listing. That means if I want to take 2 listings, I have to talk to 414, 24 contacts, and I have to prospect for 62 hours. You start to be able to do some business planning, but guess what? As the months go on, you try and beat your own numbers. Maybe rather than, it taking 200 contacts to take a listing, maybe you could do it in 125 contacts. Rather than you needing 3 leads generated, 3 presentations to take 1 listing, maybe you can do it in 2 presentations, right? So it really gives us this wonderful accountability and this super cool access to this information that we just don't have without tracking. So then you start tracking your listings sold, your buyer sales, and your closings. Why do we do that? So now over the course of a day, a week, a month, we start tracking these things. What happens if you track for an entire year? And you look at it, and now you're at the end of the year, and you've prospected, I don't know what the numbers are. You've made, 4,000 contacts, and you've prospected, 465 hours. So you've made roughly 10 contacts per hour, and you've gone on, 18 presentations, and you've taken a dozen listings, and you've done, 10 buyer controlled sales. You start to understand some of these numbers and how beneficial is that towards business planning. Wow. And how much money did I earn? And now you say, okay, I've earned $268,000, and 60% of my business was listing sold, and 40% of my business was buyer sales. Okay, well, where did the buyers come from? Well, the buyers came. I got half of my buyers came from open house, so the listings led to the buyers, and the other half were referrals. But you can actually now you see why Marriott tracks their numbers now. Because once they know what they're tracking, they know how they can put that into their future and set goals and achieve goals. Same for us. All right, I want to do more listing business and less buyer business so I can control my time. How am I going to get more listings? Am I going to get more efficient? to do more prospecting? Am I going to call a different source? But that's the beauty and the benefit of tracking numbers. Now, we don't have to get ahead of ourselves. Again, you want to track something simple just to get started in doing this appropriately, just to be real with yourself, with myself. I just want to be real with myself. How many hours, how many contacts? And write it down every day. How many hours, how many contacts? In the beginning, it might be how many minutes. Doesn't have to be hours, right? Dude, I'm going to spend 20 minutes a day calling a couple of past clients, a couple of friends. All right, I'm going to ramp it up to 45 minutes. I'm going to ramp it up to an hour and 20 minutes. I'm going to ramp it up to 2 hours. Sean is doing 3 hours a day because he's committed to building his business. So, but again, start small. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. A one bite. I'm going to track just how many hours and how many contacts. That's it. I'm going to be real with myself. I'm not going to lie to myself. That's a great point. I love that point. Next point. Well, the next point actually we've already discussed it. Next point is spend some time each day monitoring your numbers so you can make the necessary adjustments to your schedule and to your skills. So I guess this is slightly different. If you actually monitor and track these numbers, it will tell you what adjustments you have to make to your schedule and to your skills. So for example, that initial example, I work so hard, oh my God, what a tough day. Well, how many people did you talk to? Let's see, 3. Holy shit. Maybe we should take a look at your schedule. Are you getting distracted? Are you devoting the amount of time needed? Do you have a schedule? Are you time blocking? Are you getting distracted? Are you getting pulled right off that schedule? Like, boom, just like that. These are wonderful questions that we have a certain access to, that we can be present to by tracking our numbers. So not only making adjustments to our schedule, and you can also look at making adjustments to your skill set when you track your numbers. Okay, what does that mean? How do you make adjustments to your skill set just by tracking your numbers? All right, well, I prospected 2 hours a day and I talked to 2 people a day. Well, that's a problem. Why is that? Or I prospected 2 hours and I spoke to 22 people a day and I didn't go on one presentation all month long. That's a problem too. Why is that? What skills do I need to work on? If I'm spending all these hours and I'm making all these contacts, what does that tell us? I'm putting in the hours. I'm making all the contacts. I'm not setting any appointments. Okay, well, there's a certain skill set when it comes to scripting, when it comes to providing value to people, when it comes to maybe asking enough questions to determine if they're a lead or not, right? If you're making 22 contacts a day and you're calling up saying, you don't want to sell your home, do you? No? Oh, bye. You don't want to sell your home, do you? I didn't think so. Bye. It's like, maybe you need a skill reboot, right? If you have a crappy script, if you're not getting the results that you should be getting. It's a numbers game. If you talk to 22 people a day, you're going to find business. You're going to find leads. You're going to find presentations and appointments to go on. So it's a wonderful insight into skills. And the last point on tracking numbers. There are 2 ways to increase efficiency. 2 ways to increase efficiency. Number 1, increase the amount of numbers you do daily. And number 2, increase the quality. It's quantity and it's quality. If you track your numbers and you want to improve what you do, there's only 2 ways to improve on that, the quantity or the quality. Listen, If you had the worst skills on the planet, you'll still find people that want to buy or sell real estate. You don't want to sell, do you? I didn't think so. You don't want to sell, do you? I didn't think so. You don't want to sell, do you? Someone say, I like this guy. He thinks like me. Like, yeah, I do want to sell. You don't want to have you over it, do you? Yeah, why not? Come on over. Let's talk about it. Like you'll find, you can be a grumpy person, and I guess you can still find business because there's all kinds of people out there. So if you're a grumpy person and you don't want to improve your skills and you want to do more business, you better double or triple or quadruple the amount of people that you are willing to talk to every day. If you're already spending a lot of time prospecting, let's say you're spending 3, 4, 5 hours a day prospecting. Maybe you are. And you want to increase your or one, maybe you're spending one, whatever the number is, and you don't want to increase the amount of time you prospect, but you want to double your business, you better increase your skills. You better improve your scripts. You better learn to ask better questions. You better learn to create rapport with people, right? You can also increase your skills by learning how to talk to, higher level contacts, let's just say. In other words, who's going to be a better contact? A past client or a friend or someone in your sphere or a cold call? Obviously your sphere, right? But one of those two things has to change, the quantity or the quality, if you want to improve your business. And let's face it, all of us we're not on this call because we don't want to learn. We are learners. We are growers. We do want to improve. We do want to get better. It comes out naturally from each one of us. So we already know that that's important to us and it's something we want. So just consider that. Think about that. In fact, let's ask Sean, since I know you're out prospecting every day. What would you say is more important for you? Quantity, more quality, or both? What is it that you're looking to improve upon?
I mean, definitely both can be improved. But I think right now I'm really looking at the quality is a main focus of mine. So, yeah.
And if you had to guess where in your prospecting you can improve the quality, because you're doing kind of 3 forms of prospecting. You're talking to your sphere of influence, past clients and sphere, you're calling expired listings, and you're door knocking. So if you were to improve quality, where would you like to improve that quality? In which one of those forms of prospecting first?
Okay, first, I think expireds. I have a lot to improve on with expireds, just because I've done that the least.
Okay. And so how do you plan on improving the quality of your skills with expired listings?
Just doing it more and rehearsing, practicing scripts, and just kind of studying it more.
Are you currently practicing your scripts?
Not as much as I should be.
Okay. Are you practicing at all?
Every once in a while.
See how we're getting specific.
Yeah.
This is all about tracking numbers. And one of the numbers you can track is how much practice you actually do. So this week, how many minutes did you actually practice your expired script? Was it more than 0?
No.
Okay, good.
I have not.
See, this is reality. This is like a beautiful example of reality. So if you would like to, why don't you, after this call, come over to me and we will role play the expired script. That would count as practice, right? And we can even record the role play, right? So you could actually put it, if it's important to you, you could put it into a block on your schedule, practice, role play, rehearsal. There are either Mike Ferry groups, message boards where you can go. There's within EXP, there's a lot of role play groups that we can participate in. So if you wanted to role play specifically expired listings, there are places where you could do that. But again, this is like a great like example of, all right, how badly do I want it? What price am I willing to pay to get it? If I want to be better at expireds, I better practice that every single day, 5 days a week. Like, you don't have to, but if I always want to be there to meet you at any level you're at. So that's why you want to role play? Done. We role play. I'm here to meet you at any level you're at. So just know that between myself or other people and opportunities that we have access to, you know, there's no shortage of people that are here to support you in what you're trying to build. Just make sure it's important for you. I don't think you should work expireds if you don't want to work expireds. Otherwise, it's brutal. Like, ugh. But some people are like, I love expireds. I want to be the expired king. Like, that's all I think about. I like calling them early in the morning. I like calling them late at night. I like knocking on their doors on the weekends. I love expired listings, and I want to be great at it. And that's all I do. I role play it, you know, twice a day, 5 days a week. So we are here to meet you wherever you would like us to meet you at, to support you in that process. But we can absolutely role play it. So great. All right, cool. Let's unmute. Does anybody have anything that they're managing, dealing with, faced with that we can approach as a group to give you some support as a group, whether it's regarding tracking numbers or anything else in the business? Bill, go ahead, buddy.
All right. I had a listing appointment, virtual. Person didn't like the valuation I gave him, and just completely now ghosted me completely. Okay. I texted him, I called him, I left him a message. I even told him, whatever, you want to list it at a higher price. If you don't get any traffic in 2 weeks, we're gonna relist it at my price. You know, we could play that game. Just completely ghosted me.
Okay. Why? So a couple of quick questions. Why did they want to sell their property?
Divorce.
So there's motivation there.
There's motivation. The wife has an agent. The husband thinks she's trying to swindle him. Luckily, no attorneys are involved, and the valuation that the other agent gave him is very similar to my valuation. Mine was slightly a little bit less, but in the same ballpark.
Got it.
And I guess he didn't like it because he thought his property is worth a lot more, which they all do. They all think it's
right.
You know. So
okay,
now,
good.
Yeah.
So okay, great. So they have to sell, or could one spouse buy out the other? Is that a possibility?
They have to sell.
They have to sell. One cannot afford to buy out the other. Good. Okay, so we've identified. So we've identified that there's motivation. Okay, so that's wonderful. Are there other, aside from the price, is there anything else that they were unhappy with that they've identified to you?
I only spoke to the husband because the wife claimed the deed when they purchased it several years ago. So the wife, I haven't even spoken to the wife, but he's the only one that would be signing a listing agreement, the property on his name only.
Are they interviewing other agents aside from the one that the wife was talking to?
No, not that I'm aware of. Just the only one that's been managing the property for them.
Great. And are they, well, I think what you, listen, are we going to lie to people? No. And so you told them the truth, and it was the truth. And maybe he's not happy about that. He might not be unhappy with you. He might just be unhappy with the situation. It's not a great situation, right? So it's very possible that what you need to do is just show him what it's like to work with you prior to actually working with you. In other words, just take on the responsibility of sharing with him what you do, how you do it. You know, for instance, what I would probably do if I'm being ghosted, I'm still going to communicate with him. I'm still going to call him up and leave him messages. I'm still going to give him valuable information between now and the time that he's going to make his decision. And I want him to know that I'm here to help and support and to ensure that he does well in this process. So what are some things that, so when do you think they were planning on listing? Are they planning on listing within a week, 2 weeks, 2 months? What do you think are they in a position where they can list, or is there are they fighting? Well, they have no attorneys involved yet, you said.
Oh, thank God. They should be able to list first week of April, because the property right now is being through like a long-term Airbnb.
Yep.
So they have somebody in until the end of the month.
Got
And they have all the photos, everything's there. It's just literally like for me, you just send it, you might have to lunch it.
Yeah. What I would do is I would just be very assumptive in my relationship with him and just say, listen, I know, and basically you're leaving him messages, right? He's not even picking up, right? So I would just say, hey, Phil, it's Aaron Klapper calling. Listen, I know you're going through a stressful time right now. I just wanted to let you know that I'm here and ready to serve if and when you're ready to hire me. In the meantime, I want to give you a little bit of an update of what we're seeing out there. By the way, a house was just listed 2 blocks over from your property. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, just like yours. It's about 2,000 square feet, just like yours. Yours seems to be in better condition, and this one is listed at this price. I believe yours will sell for more. I'm going to go ahead and I'll send you a text with the listing so you can take a look at it. Let me know if you have any questions. Boom. 2 days later, or whatever. Hey, Phil, it's Aaron again. I just wanted to let you know that property that I sent you the other day, they actually have an offer. I spoke with the agent. They're getting lots of interest. It's a really good sign. I'm so happy to see that. Again, if there's anything you need, you let me know. And just as a reminder, I want you to know that I'm here to serve you. If you want to start at a higher price, we can do that. But feel free to give me a call if there's anything you need. Take care. Have a good day. 2-3 days later. Hey, Phil, I'm just looking for reasons to call and to share information. That's probably the most effective follow-up you can do, is just give information that's relevant to his current situation, right? Whether it's a listing, whether it's a sale, whether it's an upcoming, something or other. I would go along those lines. Which area is it in? What's the general area? What city?
Oh God, it's something I would never take on before. It's in Desert Hot Springs.
Okay.
I would never take it before, but okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a little bit slow, so hell with it, right? So I'll just take it.
Absolutely. No, you work it. That's great. So you learn that area, you find those listings. As you're getting, an understanding of what is happening, you're hyper learning that area, right? So how do you hyper learn? You call, you find out what's listed, what's sold, what's pending, what the pending price is. Hey, Phil, it's Aaron Klapper. Listen, I mentioned, there's 2 properties pending in the area. Normally, agents don't have access to that till they sell, but these agents actually gave me the inside information. As long as we keep it private between you and I. So I wanted to let you know the one on Main Street, 123 Main Street, even though they were listed at $1 million, they sold at $887,000. There's actually this and this and this going on with that property, so it was a little bit of a problematic property. The one on Hot Spring Circle, though, that one actually sold over asking. They were listed at $899. They sold at $917, and they had 3 offers on that one. And the one that won was a cash offer. Like all of a sudden, he has an inside viewpoint as to what's going on, and you're just showing him what it's like to work with you before he's actually working with you. Right. You're not harassing him, you're not bothering him, you're giving valuable information, and you're not just like, hey, checking in, let me know if you want to list with me. It's like, hey, Phil, sorry to bother you, man, but I got some new information I wanted to share with you. I think it's really important that you know this. Yep. So that's what I would do. I would just pour value without asking for anything in return. I'm here to help, Phil. I'm here to serve. Looking forward to serving if we have the opportunity. Take good care. Bye. Short, sweet. That's what I would do. Okay.
Thank you.
Cool, man. Yeah, you can't really criticize somebody that's just trying to help you. You can't be upset with someone that is just trying to help you. And they're giving you valuable information. Like you start to another call from Phil, another message from Phil. Like, I'm going to listen to this now because every time he calls, it's just something I want to know. Ooh, he got the inside information. Like Phil's he's a good dude. I like this guy. All right, cool. Anything else from anybody? What else are you guys dealing with? Anything, any challenges, any troubles that we can support you with as a group? If you're talking, Lisa, you're on mute.
So one thing I would recommend for him, sometimes when there's divorce, each spouse wants to hire their own agent. So if it's a dividing factor, say, well, look, I can co-list it with that agent. And if that agent's local, then you can have him show the property and still get the listing where both sides don't feel like, oh, their attorney's going to take advantage of me. Okay, well, the wife likes this agent, you like me, so why don't we work together? And then that way it's better to get something than nothing at all. And if they're local, then have that agent show the property so you're not driving out there.
So it's precisely, it's kind of funny. I had the last 3 appointments, they're all divorced, and they all refused to do co-listing. I offered them. To be honest, I would love to co-list, so I don't have to go drive for like 2 hours each way. But he's under impression that the wife is having an affair with the agent who used to manage their Airbnb for the past 3 years. So he doesn't want him. And it's like,
Right.
I told him I'll bring an agent over, right? But yeah, it's like a whole thing. But it's interesting that you say that, because I always offer to co-list in a divorce, and the last 3 they all refuse. They don't want to, for whatever reason, have 2 agents.
Right.
Who refuses, the agent or the couple?
Couple.
Something you could also do, Phil, is along those same lines, you can do what Lisa is saying. You can offer that, but you can offer it in a little different way, potentially. Listen, Phil, I totally appreciate that your soon-to-be ex has their own agent, and apparently there's all kinds of wackiness going on there. I want to just offer you a couple of different options, okay? If you and she cannot decide on which agent to go with, I'd be happy to co-list with that agent. If you absolutely do not want to have that agent involved, and you'd like me to speak with your wife and share with her my level of professionalism in representing you guys, I'm happy to do that as well. I will tell you that over the years, I have found that I'm really good at getting along with both parties. I understand that maybe you guys are not getting along with each other, but I pride myself on really being a wonderful communicator with both you and with she. And I think potentially once she speaks with me, she'll probably feel very, very comfortable. All I want at the end of the day is for you to have success, and anything I can do to support you in that success process, I'm happy to do. Would you like me to have a conversation with her? Or you want me to sit tight? You tell me. So just opening them up to that possibility of, listen, I've been through this before, I've done this before, and this is how I resolve that. I get on the phone with the other party, I share with them that I am not a threat, that I'm there to support both of them in this process. And in fact, the less they fight with each other, the more money they make, right? So it really is in everyone's best interest for me to serve both of you, because I want you to net the most money possible. That is my only goal here. So just, sometimes you got to just go a few steps ahead and future pace the situation. I can totally appreciate that. We've done this before. I've seen this 100 times before. This is how we help in situations like yours. And this time is just like that time that I help those other people. So, that kind of a thing. All right, cool, guys. Well, thank you so much for your participation. I really appreciate you guys being here. If there's anything you need between now and then, give me a ring. Otherwise, see you next week. Take good care.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Bye.